Introduce everyone on the call here today. First with myself, my name is Melody Malure, and I am the Communications Coordinator for the City of Bozeman. I will be helping facilitate today. I'll be your tech support. And so for the sake of knowing how to use WebEx, just so you know, we'll be relying on the Q&A feature in order for you to ask your questions and get those answered at the end of our presentation. So if you haven't familiarized yourself yet with WebEx and the Q&A feature, you might find it on the bottom right-hand corner of your computer if you're using a computer. You might find it if you are on your phone under the list of options. Sometimes it sits at the very top of your phone and it says Q&A. And we will get to the Q&A as we get later into the presentation, so you have some time to track that down. But that will be your way to ask all of our very informed panelists questions about the project. So I am going to introduce next my colleague, Marna Daly. Marna, do you want to come off mute and introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks, Melody. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Marna Daly. I am the Public Affairs Officer for the Custer Gallatin Forest. And just again, thank you for being here with us.
Great. Thanks, Marna. Let's see here. Corey, why don't you introduce yourself next?
Yeah, you bet. Good afternoon, folks. I'm Corey Llewellyn. I'm the District Ranger for the Bozeman Ranger District. And just to emphasize, Melody and Marna, thanks a lot for taking the time this afternoon. Appreciate the opportunity to have a little update on the project.
Great. And then last but not least, Brian, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Heaston. I'm the project manager for the City of Bozeman's effort with the Sourdough Fuels Reduction Project.
Thank you, Brian. All right, everyone, I am going to start to share my screen again. So bear with me 1 second while I get that set up. All right, while I am doing that, just a reminder in case you're wondering why you are here, this is a project update on the Bozeman Municipal Watershed project. And we are joined, we have the City of Bozeman and the Custer Gallatin National Forest here with us today. Okay, a brief agenda so you all know what's coming over the next 20 minutes worth of presentation time. We just went through welcome and introductions. You got to meet some of our great panelists. We'll have an overview of the overall project, which is the Bozeman Municipal Watershed Project. And then we'll dive into some work updates and timelines from both the Custer Gallatin National Forest Service on the different elements of the work that they are doing on their lands, and then also on the City of Bozeman work that's going on City of Bozeman lands. Then we'll go into the anticipated closures that we will see coming up this fall. And then we'll close with Q&A. And finally, we'll just have some summary thoughts at the very end with a little bit more information about how you can get on our update list if you want to get emails about the latest events we're holding or any information about future closures or project work. So a brief overview. Some of you, because you're here, might already know about what this project is about. But to summarize, this is the Bozeman Municipal Watershed Project, or if you're in government and you love acronyms, the BMWP. This is a partnership between the City of Bozeman and the Forest Service to do a number of things, but the primary things that the project attempts to do is to, one, reduce wildfire fuels and currently put Bozeman's primary water supply at risk, protect our drinking water supply, and support forest health in what we all know is one of the busiest recreational areas in the Bozeman community, increase public and firefighter safety, and then lastly, provide more defensible space in our wildland-urban interface areas. So I'm going to turn it over to Brian now to go over a little bit more about the project area, kind of zoom out so you can see a map of what we're really talking about. And then we will go back and forth with our panelists as we give you some updates. So Brian, let me get that slide pulled up for you and you are good to go.
Thanks, Melody. So here on the screen, we're showing an overview of the overall project area for the Bozeman Municipal Watershed project. In yellow, that represents areas of treatment that the U.S. Forest Service will be conducting under their portion of the project. The orange area represents City of Bozeman land on which the City of Bozeman's treatments will be located. You can see the boundary of the municipal watershed. So the treatments here at the lower end of both Sourdough and Highlight municipal watersheds in proximity to our municipal water supply intakes. The red areas there you can see are historic fires that have burned in the recent past. And you can see they encroach fairly closely on the outer boundary there of our municipal watershed. So we've had fires that have come close to burning into the watersheds, but haven't reached it. Next slide, please. And just to zoom down here of the same image. So again, yellow is Forest Service treatments. Orange is City of Bozeman. The blue squares that you see represented there on the screen are the locations of the city's municipal water supply intakes. So as you can see, the treatments themselves are largely surround those critical pieces of municipal drinking water infrastructure. Next slide.
All right, Corey, that is you.
Yeah, good afternoon, folks. So we thought we just wanted to provide a really quick update on some of the ongoing, some of the completed work, some of the ongoing work, and then work planned for this upcoming winter and next summer. So if you've been in the area, you've probably already noticed we have started implementation of this project on the National Forest Service lands. In 2021, we treated about 300 acres of what we call small diameter thinning. And so you can, in the picture you can see here, basically what that means, we're removing densely stocked stands of small diameter vegetation of timber. And that's all done by hand crews with chainsaws, and that material then just gets piled. And when the time is right, when we have the right weather conditions, we'll eventually come back and burn those piles. A lot of those treatments have been focused in the Leverage Gulch and the Mosier Ridge area. If you've been on the Leverage Gulch Trail, it's quite likely you've seen some of these treatments, you've seen some of the piles. Some of the other treatments are a little further off of a road system, especially in the Mosier Ridge area. But so far in 2020, we've done about 300 acres. We have some of that work that's still ongoing with our Forest Service crew in the Leverage Gulch area. So it could be expected to still see, you could expect to still see some crews and chainsaws conducting that work as we progress here in the fall. Some other work, some of the initial noxious weed spraying that's required for this project has also occurred. A lot of that's occurred along haul routes and our road system, trying to minimize, we know that a lot of our roads are kind of a opportunity for weeds to be transported. And so we try to treat along our roads to prevent that type of introduction of weeds or movement of existing weeds. So we've done quite a bit of the weed spraying, mostly in the Mosier Ridge area. And then tied to that, we've also started a lot of our pre-haul, pre-logging road maintenance. And so if you've been up in the Mosier Ridge area this summer, you probably saw some heavy equipment. They're almost done. Actually, they're still up there as we speak, doing a little bit of final work. Most of that's blading the road, doing some ditch cleaning, replacing culverts so that water can be transported off the road system. And altogether, there was about 18 miles of road work that was done or is getting completed here this summer. So that's kind of a quick recap. We did prep a unit for prescribed fire in the Linger area. It's about a 100-acre unit. We never got the correct weather conditions to initiate the prescribed fire, so we didn't do that, but we did prep the unit. And what I mean is that we got our control features, we got our suppression lines, We did a little bit of vegetation clearing around the perimeter of that unit. And so that area is now prepped and ready to be implemented with prescribed fire if and when we get those weather conditions. So that's a quick recap here on 2020. Ongoing work, perfect. You know, again, we'll have some continued work maybe this fall, pretty minimal work. Most of it's that small diameter thinning. And as of now, we're anticipating a lot of the work to kind of ramp up next year. Next year, we're anticipating that the mechanical treatments and the larger diameter stands of timber, the logging activities, we expect that work to start next summer. A lot of that's going to be focused again around that Mosier Ridge area. We do have some treatments along Bozeman Creek and then down Mosier Ridge towards the National Forest boundary with private towards Kirk Hill. We expect a lot of those treatments to start next year, and that's when you can expect to see log trucks and hauling and a lot of heavy equipment starting to be mobilized into the project area. We're going to continue doing the small diameter thinning. We actually have about 500 acres of work that's under contract ready to be started next year in 2022. Again, that's the 10-person crew with chainsaws thinning those smaller diameter trees. We'll continue to be doing some weed spraying, and if conditions are favorable, we will certainly be moving forward with some prescribed fire activity. That again is twofold. We have what we call some understory or broadcast burning that we'll be putting under the right conditions, putting fire on the landscape to help treat some of the fuel accumulation. And then we also have those piles that we've created. And so when those get cured out with the right, with snow on the ground, we'll burn those piles as well. It's unlikely for the pile burning to occur this winter. It's possible, but we don't think the piles will be cured out yet. But as we move into next year, it's quite likely we'll be doing the prescribed fire, the broadcast burning, and the pile burning.
So on to work that is currently ongoing with the city side of the project. Our phase one effort, which consists of conventional ground-based logging techniques, is currently ongoing. That work actually started here at the beginning of this week, and we anticipate completion of that toward the end of October. This work is on the east side, or pardon me, the west side of Sourdough Canyon, kind of up on top of the ridge, and is not going to have any disruption to the public use of Sourdough Canyon Trail. However, folks that are recreating there in the area may hear heavy equipment up there on top of the ridge as they're working that project. Upcoming work here is our phase two portion of the project, which is helicopter logging techniques and treatments. That work is going to begin September 27th with crews entering the project area to begin cutting timber on the east side of Sourdough Canyon Trail. Those cutters will be in the woods for about 1 week, and then the helicopter work will begin to start flying that timber down to the city of Bozeman's intake meadow, where it will be processed, decked, and then loaded on logging trucks to be hauled out the Sourdough Canyon Trail. As a portion of that, part of that work, because of the hazardous activity of having a helicopter and timber being flown overhead over the trail itself, as well as the haul activity that needs to occur to get the logs out of the area. The Sourdough Canyon Trail itself will be closed for a 4-week period of time. I want to mention here that the engagement effort that occurred here earlier in the summer, we heard loud and clear from the community that they wanted to see the work done as quickly as possible. So we're going to close the trail down to give the logging operator for him to be able to get that work done as quickly as possible and be able to work 7 days a week to be able to get the work done that needs to happen there on the east side of the canyon. Next slide, please. And advance one more. So we're breaking out the helicopter work into two parts. So part one of the work, again, constitutes or will require the closure to public use of Sourdough Canyon Trail itself. It's generally when the treatment units on the east side of the canyon will be worked. Again, those logs are going to be flown over the trail to the intake meadow where they will be processed, decked, and then placed on logging trucks to be hauled out the trail itself. Again, closure period that we're anticipating is 4 weeks, beginning October 4th and moving 4 weeks. So about basically the entire month of October, the trail is going to be closed to public use. Advance, please. Then we'll move into part two of the work where the contractor will move over to the west side of the canyon. When that work is occurring on the west side of the canyon, the helicopter will not be flying over the trail itself. Logs will not be flying over the trail itself. Logs will be flown to a location up on top of the ridge on the west side of the canyon, and will be hauled out a different route, not on the trail itself. So while part two of the work is happening, the trail will be open, and the public should expect periodic vehicular traffic on the road or on the trail for crews to get in and out of the area, as well as constant flight traffic for the helicopter working those treatment units on the west side of the canyon. Next slide, please. So again, we will be closing Sourdough Canyon Trail while for part one of the work when the helicopter is flying over and flying logs over the trail, and log trucks will haul that timber out the trail itself. So the closure area includes the entirety of the trail on City of Bozeman land. So folks will not be able to enter the trail from the trailhead, nor will they be able to leave the canyon from the trailhead. So any recreationists that are accessing Sourdough Canyon above the project area through other routes through other trailheads, again, will not be able to leave through the Sourdough Canyon trailhead itself during that closure period. Next slide, please. So just in summary, the closure will begin on October 4th of the Sourdough Canyon Trail. We do ask that the public abide by posted signage. We're going to have this well signed on the road, Sourdough Canyon Road into the trailhead, at the trailhead, as well as other trailheads where folks can potentially enter the project area, but again, will not be able to get out. And we do ask that you spread the word with friends and fellow area users. We'd like to make sure folks understand that this closure is happening, and to give the contractor time to get that work done there. So again, helicopters are going to be moving timber, heavy items through the project area. So please do stay out of the project area during that trail closure period.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, everyone. So that can kind of conclude the informational portion of this presentation. We have a lot of really great, well-informed panelists on the call with us today. And so this is your opportunity to go and find that Q&A function on WebEx. If you've had any questions pop up about elements or logistics of the different project things that are happening, maybe even questions about the work that's already been completed, go ahead and use that Q&A feature on WebEx to type your question in, and we will answer it as best we can. So again, for those of you using WebEx, you can find that Q&A if you're on your computer, probably on the bottom right-hand corner. If you're on your phone, you might have to go to a section that's like more, and it might even be on the top of your phone screen. So make sure you click around a little bit if you are looking for that Q&A function. So I am going to stop sharing my screen as soon as I see a question come in so that you can see everyone's faces a lot bigger. And we will answer questions until we either run out of time or until there are no questions left. So go ahead, throw your questions in the Q&A, and we will get you some answers to those. And I will give you a few minutes just to try to find that and type your questions in. I'll give everyone a few more minutes here to get your questions in. Awesome. And as we are answering questions, if it brings anything up for you, please just continue to put questions in that Q&A function. Looks like we have a question in here from Clint. Their question is about the 18.3 miles of additional road work. The question is, are those 18.3 miles of additional road work, are they existing roads or newly constructed roads? And I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I think that's a question, Corey, for you.
Yeah, sounds good. Hey, Clint, hope you're doing well. Thanks for the good question and good clarification. That is purely existing road system. That's the existing roads in the Mosier area. So that's all work that we've done, maintenance work, things of that nature on the existing system. As of now, we have not had any of the temporary roads built. Hope that answered the question for you, Clint.
Great. And so I am trying my best to summarize answers and put those back into everyone's Q&A so you can see those questions pop up and those answers. Looks like Kylie has a question. She says, thanks for the presentation. Thank you, Kylie, for being here. She's wondering what the main concerns would be with our reservoirs if there were to be a fire in the municipal watershed. And Brian, do you feel comfortable answering that question?
Yeah. If we have a fire above the reservoir, so highlight reservoir way up high in the highlight municipal watershed, we can expect additional sedimentation impact, upon precipitation events. So we'll have more sediment coming into the reservoir and eating up storage capacity. So the reservoir ultimately wouldn't be as big as it is now to be able to hold water.
Great. Thanks for your question, Kylie. Any other questions? Oh, looks like Helena is here. Hi, Helena. She asked, just for clarification, will signs be posted at other trailheads warning people not to leave through the Bozeman Creek Trail? Yes, I know, a conversation we're having a lot of right now with our team. Brian and Corey, I don't know which of you would prefer to answer that first, but I know we're all working on the same team for this one. So whoever would.
Yeah. I'll take a crack at that. Great question, Helena. So yes, we will have signage posted at other trailheads that could lead you in to Sourdough Canyon to notify folks that, hey, if you enter here, we'd like you to to come back and leave from that same location that you went in, or another route, so long as it's not out Sourdough Canyon Trail. So that signage will be posted. The closure map that you saw here in the presentation will be included. Will be posted at those other trailhead areas to let people know where the location of that closure actually is on Sourdough Canyon Trail, and that they won't be able to get out.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. And if I could just add on, for those who are curious about getting access to Mystic Lake or the Mystic Lake cabin, that area will still be open. You'll just have to use alternative routes to get to that part of the Bozeman Creek watershed. And we're encouraging users to go up Highlight and up the Mosier area, the what we call the Mosier Cutoff Road. Once you get to the ridge, it is non-motorized, so you'll have to hike or bike or horseback, just like Bozeman Creek Sourdough as it is now. But that'll be probably the best alternative route to get to Mystic Lake.
Thanks, Corey and Brian. Yeah, I know that Mystic Lake cabin question is definitely one people are thinking of. Other questions from folks? While I'm letting people think of their other questions, I will just put a plug in right now for our website, where you can find all the information about the Bozeman Municipal Watershed. All of these maps that we're referencing will be posted on there. This meeting will be posted on there. And that is really simply just at bznwatershed.com. And that is up on our slides as well. And when we close out, I will make sure to pull that slide open so you can find it. That main site is also where you can sign up to get email updates from us. And of course, you'll find all that information pushed out on social media channels through the city and through the forests, as well as hopefully through our local media partners. But just another great way for you to get that information sent directly to you. Other questions? Okay, looks like Clint has another question. Clint's question about, I believe, a different project, but directed towards the Forest Service, is when will work in the Kirk Hill area begin?
Hey, Clint, Corey again. So that is, the treatments on National Forest to the south of Kirk Hill. That is all part of this project. As of right now, Clint, we don't have a specific time frame. Just anticipating that work will start next summer. Again, the temporary road that will access the majority of that area has not been built yet. Probably won't be built until next year. So that's the earliest I would foresee operations starting in that area. And again, and to clarify, there are no treatments on Kirk Hill proper. I mean, that's MSU Foundation land. That's not National Forest. The treatments in that area are all on National Forest to the south of Kirk Hill there.
Other questions? And of course, if you think of a question after our meeting today and you want to get an answer on it, also on our website is a great contact us form. And then you can send us your question there and we can certainly get back to you that way too. So you don't have to think of your questions here in the minute as well. but we will give everyone just 1 or 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to move us into the wrap up. Okay, I am going to share my screen again. If you throw any questions in the Q&A over the next couple of minutes, I will come back and we will answer those. But before you all take off, I'm just going to share my screen one more time and remind you about where you can go to find more information about this project, where to sign up for updates, and so on. So if you want, you can always go to bznwatershed.com for more information and to sign up for updates. If you actually go to the homepage of bznwatershed.com, you'll be able to scroll all the way, to the bottom of that main homepage, and you'll see this box that says, "We want to keep you updated," and we do. And if you click on that green button that says "Join Now," you can sign up to be on our contact list. You will get all of the emails as we know different meetings are coming up, or if we know project updates are happening. You will get the latest and greatest on things like closures and other project work. I want to just open it up, and I know we've talked about work that's coming up over the course of the summer and this fall and even into next year. Forest Service or City of Bozeman folks, is there anything we want to just preview out into the next year about what people should expect? I know, Brian, you wanted to just touch on a little bit about the sourdough project, and I think Corey covered a lot in his section, but Corey, you'll be welcome to share that as well.
Yeah, I will mention that the city will move into phase 3 of our sourdough fuels reduction project, and that consists of small diameter thinning, very much in line with what Corey described, that the forest has implemented on forest lands already for their BMW project. We're looking to get as much of that small diameter fuel kind of cut and piled and eventually burned once we have the proper burn conditions there. As much area treated as we have funding for at this point. So hopefully we can get close to 300 acres of small diameter thinning accomplished there next year. That's the ideal plan. But again, we'll get as much done as funding allows for. But we are planning on beginning that work next year.
And I think, for the Forest Service part of it, all I'd really emphasize, you can definitely expect to see a lot more activity next year. We're going to be scaling up additional parts of the project, and you can see quite a bit of work occurring. So definitely, I thank you for your patience. It's going to take us some time to get through these projects as we move forward. With ramping up additional project elements, especially from the prescribed fire perspective, some of those treatments will certainly, they're going to produce smoke. The smoke's going to be under much favorable conditions, under controlled conditions in the spring, not uncontrolled wildfire in August and September. So we would rather have that smoke in the spring or late in the fall, not in the middle of the summer when it's not controlled. So you could definitely expect to see some of that part of the project. And then to also emphasize, as we implement additional elements, there will be additional temporary closures. There'll be some trails, again, probably in the Mosier Ridge area, that will have some temporary closures as we implement treatments, mechanical treatments in Bozeman Creek above the intake structure. From what Brian and the city have planned, there'll be some closures associated with that as well. And so we, as always, will be very committed and transparent about updates and the timing of those closures, but there'll be more of those upcoming next year.
Great. Thank you, Corey. And so as we close out here, everyone, I want to thank you all for your time. remind you to go to the website. If you come up with a question you'd like to ask us, please contact us. Please go to the homepage and join our newsletter so that you can get the most up-to-date info about upcoming closures or project work. And then lastly, my last ask of you, if you take anything from this day today, if you are someone who's a part of a user group who will be impacted by the closure of the Sourdough Canyon Trail, you know people who recreate in that area, who hunt in that area, who enjoy spending time out there, please share this information with them. Share the website. Find us on social media, Bozeman or Custer Gallatin National Forest, and share that information out to folks. We know it's inconvenient when you get somewhere and there is a closure, and we are doing our best to make sure we get the word out and keep everyone as safe and protected as possible during this important work. So with that, I want to say thank you to all who've joined. Thank you to all of the panelists, and